Hey, cutie pies. I am Lanikia, and this is Lanikia Help, where I assist you with finding work from home jobs and let you know what's hiring. These are legit jobs, but as always, please do your own research because I don't want to be responsible if you get this job and be like, girl, no. So do your own research to see if this is right for you. So what I'm going to do is be giving you work from home jobs, and you guys can get into the comments and just say if it's something that you have done before, if you applied for it, how your experience has been working from home and everything. So getting right into it, this is my video on my experience with Appen. So I worked with Appen. This is these people only pay once a month. So if you're looking for, no girl, I need a job that pays every week or every other week, I can only give you my experience working with Appen. So what actually ended up happening was, okay, so I was looking for a work from home job, and this is one of the first jobs that I had heard about. I don't even remember how I heard about that job. It was so long ago that I've done this, but I went ahead and applied, and so I applied for this job, and I didn't hear back from them for months. I forgot I even applied for this job. The reason I applied is because um, I wanted to work from home, and this was not a phone work from home. So I was like, okay, this is right up my alley, what I'm kind of looking for. So I'll do it or whatever. So I applied for it. It took months. Like I think I applied for it, I want to say I applied for, I don't remember, it was months. I know that part of it. I want to say it was at least 3 or 4 months before I even heard back from them. So if you apply for this job and you don't hear, but like don't expect to hear back from them quickly. Now that was my experience. My sister applied for this job and she heard back within a week, and then I have another sister who applied for the job as well, and she heard back. But I have one friend that's never heard back from them. Well, they offer her jobs, but it's stuff she doesn't want to do. So I mean, it just depends on what they're looking for at the time. So what I ended up doing was I got an email because they only communicate with you through email. So I have people who on my other channel, when I told this story, they would be like, they're trying to hit me up on Hangouts, they're trying to do this and that, and I'll be like, I don't know who that is because what my communication with them is only through email. So I don't know who that is hitting you up, so I can't tell you to go ahead and do okay with talk to these people because I don't know who that is. But they hit you up in the middle of the night, so it seems suspect. But then you realize, oh, they're somewhere. They're not in. This is not a U.S. based job. I want to say it's Australia. Is it Australia? I believe so. But anyways, it's not a U.S. based job, so that's why they only hit you up at night through the email. So I would wake up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep, and I would see an email from them, and it would be like, okay, we want you to do this social media job because they make you sign an NDA, so I can never like tell y'all what it was, but super easy. They want you to do this social media job and go in and look at the guidelines and take an assessment and all that. Now their assessment at that time was a little bit different because it was almost and I want to say they didn't pay for it, but at the time I didn't care. I didn't care because I was like, if it's real, it'll be something that I'll get money for. If it's not real, then I just wasted my time on an assessment. So they made me go in and do the assessment. Now, let me tell you something. The way their tests are now, you have to study. Like I had to study when I did this assessment, and I thought the tests were easy back then, but you have to study. But now, like you could get away with like copy and pasting, like trying to find an answer or whatever. But now, if you can't do that, if you don't study those guidelines like you're studying for a final, you probably won't pass the assessments because that's how hard they are now. But I think they know that and they're trying to improve them and everything. Shout out to Marquita and Kanita for subscribing to the channel. But anyways, so I went ahead and I did the assessment and everything. I failed the first time because I was being lazy and I didn't study at all. So the second time they said, well, we're going to let you try this one more time. And if you don't pass this, you will not be working for us. I said, okay, let me get serious and actually read this and see what they're asking me to do. And so when I did it, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, girl, what's wrong with you? So I did it, and I made the grade to be able to pass it and move on to the next step. So then they give you training, mock training and all that. It was really cool. But I didn't know what I was doing. Does that make sense? Like, when you first start a job and everything is like a little overwhelming because you don't really know what you're doing, and then like months later, not even a month, but months, but like a month, maybe 2 months later, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. I can't believe I thought this was so hard. That's how this job was. So I'm doing it or whatever, and I'm like, okay, what now? And you're so stressed about, I want to get the right answers. I want to make sure I'm doing everything perfectly or whatever. And then you realize that if you just loosen up and just, answer how you think it should be answered, then you don't have to. Because I was making myself so slow, and that's what I know now that I did not know then. Because then I was like, oh my gosh, am I giving the right answer? Let me give this full detailed answer for them on the social media thing, because you had to type at that time. You had to type a lot. Yo, ma'am, what's going on? Sorry, guys. The perks of doing this YouTube is that y'all hear background noise, and I can just say I'm sorry. Whereas if I was working from home on a call, this could not fly. But anyways, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I start, right. They do all the paperwork. They pay through. I think is it Payola? Anyways, whoever they pay through. I never had a check miss. But this is how they do. So if you were to start today, the 24th, you would work the 24th to the 30th, however many hours they tell you to work, whatever you signed up for or whatever. You know what you're supposed to work. On the end of the 30th, you finish your hours or whatever. If they tell you to invoice, you invoice them. But most of it, when it's social media, they're invoicing for you. So they on this job, they were invoicing for me. So I invoiced. They've invoiced for me, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's $1 or if it's 85 cents. Whatever it is that you work at the end of that month, they're paying you for that on the next month, which they pay on the 14th or 15th. I believe it's I think it's the 14th or 14th, but you always get to check early. I don't know, because you always get to check early. So they pay you on this day, but you have to go in and make sure that everything is correct. If you're invoicing yourself. Now, if they're invoicing, they already know your hours are correct or everything. So they're not even worried about it. They're like, this is what you worked. Come on and get this check. And so they do have direct deposit. It was real. Your direct deposit with the payola is really simple. Is it payola or paylocity? It's really simple. I did it so many years ago. I don't remember, but every month at the end of the month, they'll always tell you, hey, this debited, credited into your account. But anyways, so you work your hours. The end of the month, they say, okay, this is how much you're going to be paid, and then the financial team will send the email out. You're like, okay, cool. And then they say, okay, usually if the 14th or 15th, if it lands on the weekends, they usually always pay you early, unless the day is like the 14th or 15th in the middle of the week, like a Tuesday or Wednesday, then you're probably going to get paid on time. It just depends on your bank, because I always get paid early. So that's why I don't really know what day it was. So with the social media job, I would log on every day, and I had it for I had to work 4 hours, 5 days a week. One of the day, and it was, you could work any day of the week. You had 7 days to choose. Child, I was like, this is too much, and now thinking about it, I was like, I put so much pressure on myself for that job, but I was working. I had a boutique at the time, so I was doing that. And then I worked for an accounting firm, so I was doing that. So it was like, literally, I would wake up, go to my boutique, open it up, someone would come in, and then I would go to the accounting firm, work there, get off my boutique, go relieve the person who was working at my boutique. Once I relieved them, I would work the boutique while working my Appen job. So when I didn't have customers or anything, I'd be working my Appen job, and then I would close the boutique and then go home and start all over again. It just got too much. It just got too much. And I was like, I got to let one of these go. And I chose Appen. I made the wrong choice. I should have let that boutique go because it was stressing me out. But I should have let it go first. But because eventually I ended up getting rid of it or whatever. So I'm like, I made the wrong choice on that. But anyways, getting back to this. So I worked my 4 hours or whatever, and I was doing good on it. But then the thing that happens that I didn't do is that if you have to miss a day or something like that, you need to let them know. I just got so overwhelmed. I was like, "Whoo, child, I'm not working this week," um, because it was like one of those jobs where you don't really have a supervisor. It's real laid back, and there's the only way you communicate is through email. And so I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna work this week. Well, you do that, I think it's 3 times, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to let you go, whatever. But I was like, oh, I don't care, I have this boutique and I have this job, and it's okay, or whatever, because I wanted the extra money, but it wasn't like I was hurting for the extra money. I regret that now because I'm like, girl, it was extra money. It was super easy. Now looking back, I see where it was super easy, but at the time I was like, oh, I get sick of doing this. Oh my gosh, just lazy. That's all that was, just plain lazy. But I was kind of tired, but it was laziness too. So after I was let go with them, I was like, okay, this little 700 a month, because they pay $10 an hour, and I was working like 20 hours a week. I believe that you had to work a minimum of 20 or 25 hours a week, because I was making $700 a month extra a month with them, just doing that. And so I was like, oh, it doesn't even matter or whatever, because I was, doing something else, and I was like, it doesn't even matter with them or whatever. But then once I let the boutique go and I had some extra time, I was like, oh, I should have kept that. So then I was like, let me try to go back with them. I put in the application. They were like, uh-uh. So I was like, okay, I understand. You need a minute. So, like a year later, I was like, let me try to go back with them again, just to have some extra change or whatever. And so I did, but I used a different email this time. So I used a different email, and I got back with them, and I got on with them, and so I started working with them again, and I was making like, it wasn't the 700, but it was still 450 to 500 a month. That was good for me, and it was so much easier because I only had to work 1 hour a day. But I did it 7 days a week, so I was working 1 hour a day for 7 days a week, and then I had another little side job with them as well that didn't interfere with that one, and that was really easy too, because all I did was track my location. I was like, okay, sometimes I used to just get in the car and go somewhere so I could put it down on my location and everything. So that was what I did with Appen, and now it was just easy money. Now the pay is only like, it depends. Like some other campaigns now, they pay you really well. They pay like the 15, 16, 17. But for the most part, for social media, if you want to do that, it's like 10 to 12 bucks an hour. And the reason I recommend it is because, one, they're legit. Two, they pay you on time and everything. Three, you don't have to be on the phone. Like, you're on the job that I was doing, I literally was on my cell phone. I didn't even have to be on my laptop anymore. Like the first job, I had to be on my laptop. This job, I was on my cell phone doing both jobs. So it was a breeze. And most of their jobs, they'll tell you in the description if you have to be on your cell phone, if you can use your cell phone or whatever that you can use. So I really enjoyed it. The only reason I still don't do that job, one of the jobs with them, is because it played out. Like the campaigns leave, and so after so long, the campaign eventually left. But I applied for another campaign, and got hired for, I mean, once you start really working for him, they pretty much will hire you. Whatever campaign you go for, they'll be like, okay, just take the assessment. I just haven't taken an assessment. I'm like, I don't want to take the, I don't want to take the assessment. That's the only reason I haven't done it. I'm still working on one job with them, but the other one I just haven't taken an assessment. Because I did an assessment for one job, passed the assessment and everything, and then they were like, "Oh, we're out of work." And so I was like, I'm not going to take another assessment that you might be out of work for, because they'll let you know that too, if the campaign is something that has a lot of work, or if it's something, because some jobs, they have work and then they don't, and then they have work and then they don't. So I was like, I'm not going to take another assessment for a job that may and may not work. But for the other ones, yes, I've applied for them, and I'm just waiting to hear back if I get picked up on one of the other jobs. One job I have got picked up on, but I'm still going through the notes and everything because it seems rather intense. So that's with that. But anyways, this video is long as crap. I know. 15 minutes, girl. What are you doing? But anyway, that was my time with Appen, and I really enjoyed it. It was like, I enjoyed it the second time around. This second time around, I've enjoyed it. The first time, I was just overwhelmed, and that's why I didn't enjoy it. But if you're looking for something just to supplement some income, this is the job for you. But don't be discouraged if, like, you're not getting what you're like, oh my gosh, no, they're not offering me anything. So one thing you can do is go into their, once you apply and everything, they're gonna give you a long assessment. So do all the assessments, and then they have quizzes. Do the quizzes too, because that helps you when they're thinking about looking for people to apply for, to work all these different campaigns and jobs. Anyways, guys, this was long enough. That was my time with Appen. This week on this channel only, Lanikia Help, I'll be giving a video every single week over jobs that I have personally worked, and telling you like my experience with them, whether it was good or bad, if I was being lazy or if they were just tripping. Because it was one job, I feel like they were just tripping. But I will let you guys know, and you can decide if it's for you or not. All right, that is my time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you. This is going to drop Monday, so I will see you Tuesday for a new video.